Hey, awesome. We're live right now. And
I'm
we're live with Margaret Gramann. Thank you very much.
so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be back.
Do you know when I posted up in the group that it was going to be you, a whole bunch of people said she was such a great leader. I'm so glad she's going to be on. I wouldn't miss this. So they remember you.
Well, let me tell you guys something, Lisa, no kidding, because since I've left Avon and even the work I do today, I'm talking to people all day. And we're talking a lot about careers. That's some of the work I'm doing now. And man, when they ask me about my history and when I talk about Avon, I'm like, I'm not supposed to say, when I talk about the company, I just feel one of the best ever experiences I had was working with these women and a few guys, right? During my time there. I also, by the way, in the business I'm currently in, do a little work with a couple other direct selling companies. And anyway, I love the business, but man, I loved all of you. And Lisa, no kidding, people that I talk to will know you because I talk about you as an inspiration to me.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you we have to put up with the dog bark in here. Every once in a while. JP from New York, remember him?
Yes,
he's on listening.
Yeah, I absolutely remember him. I remember emails from him. I do remember.
You know what somebody else brought up in the group when I posted that you're going to be on? I had forgotten about this, if you can believe it, but the whole on the tracks thing.
Yeah.
Remember the whole on the tracks thing? Now, I don't know if you're willing to say this, but to me, your superpower is that you talk to people and figure out what their thing is. And then you figure out how that can work into what you need to happen. You want me to give you an example why I think that about you? Okay. You talked to me a few times. You immediately found out my thing was my kid. And then from then on, when you walked up to me, you talked to the kid first. You always asked me about the kid if the kid wasn't there. When you needed me to do the thing in Sacramento, you made sure to include the kid. So you know how to do that. And I love that. That is such a superpower skill that I think all of us could use, actually. But do you realize that you're doing that?
I think not positioned in the way that you just said. So, I'm going to think about that. What I would say, though, Lisa, I have been focused for many years trying to understand people's personal drivers, because when you get to know them personally, I think you can help them maximize professionally. And when you're running a business, if your team is maximizing themselves professionally, the business is succeeding. So no matter what bosses think, if they're focused on themselves, they're focused on the wrong damn people, right? So
that's right.
Yeah.
And because I think I'm saying the same thing you're saying. You're just saying it in fancier terms.
I think I like your terms, though. I'm gonna have to consider that, honestly.
Because to me, I knew that I felt like you got me. Like when you asked me to speak in Sacramento, you included the kid. You said, you know what? We'll bring the kid. And then you remember the Apple Watch thing?
Oh,
you gave both of us one. You found a way to make sure that what would make me happy, you knew. If the kid was happy, I'd be happy because it was obvious.
And if you knew. And if Lisa was happy, if the kid was happy, Lisa was happy. If Lisa was happy, she was jazzed about the business. And when you're jazzed about the business, especially in direct selling, everybody's jazzed, and you sell more.
That's right.
And you make more.
That's right. Yeah. I just think it's your.
Besides that, I have to say, it is a core of who I am. I'm just like a results-oriented person. However, and maybe a little bit later in life, maybe in my early 30s, I honestly came to a point where I realized then valued more that at the end of the day, if I reflected on my history, what I remembered was the people and the impact, not the results I got in, 1989 or 1990. So that's when I began to transition about the importance of the people part of the work I was doing. And at the end of the day, that's what sustains success long term. But it made it more interesting. It made it more fun. And I think part of that superpower, though, Lisa, the difference is, if you're going to do that, what you're talking about, you have got to be sincere. It better be coming from the heart, because people will vet you out so fast.
Right.
And then looking at their Instagram or Facebook or whatever people do these days, right? Oh yeah, right. So you're rolling your eyes and going, "This is completely insincere. I'm just being manipulated, and I'm not playing." So it better be coming from the heart. It's got to be real.
And you know who else? I'm in the group with Bob Berg. I don't know if you're familiar with the Go Giver, and that is like their whole thing. The Go Giver thing is the other person. It's all about the other person, and it just is enlightened self-interest, like Jim Rohn says. When you're focused on the other person, you end up getting sales or referrals or whatever else you're looking for, results, because that's how you get it, by shining the light on the other person. So it's kind of the same thing, but it does have to be sincere. You're absolutely right.
I think it was in high school. Maybe it was college. I can't credit the author, Lisa. But I remember what he said. You will get what you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want in life.
That's Jim Rohn. That's right. Jim Rohn, for sure. Oh, no, Zig Ziglar. What am I saying? That's Zig Ziglar.
Maybe Zig Ziglar. I thought it was Dennis Waitley. Whoever's been saying
Zig Ziglar.
And that's exactly right. The other thing that I've taught myself, I'm actually trying to, as you know, Brock's my 16-year-old, and I think he's gotten pretty good at this. But the other thing that's not easy for people that I think is really impactful, if you can be enthusiastic and as energetic about the success of others as you are about your own, man, things will flow to you. And it's hard for people. They get jealous. They get, I want what they got. Don't go there with your family, with your coworkers. Just get energized and jazzed about everything they got going. And that does flow back to you too.
No, I agree with that. Did you click on comments on your right side of the screen? Because you're getting some love over in the comment thing.
Oh, really? Yeah, I see now.
Yeah.
Kathy, how are you? It's good to see. Oh my goodness.
Kathy from Texas is on. Yes. Angelica G, you probably remember her. Elizabeth Demas, who got married since we've seen you. And Lori from Cape Cod. Yeah, everybody's on. Yay.
Oh man, it's great. Listen, it's great to be here.
Yay, they're planning stuff. When you were here, we were doing what, the 125th, I think? No, that can't be right. The 130th. Had to be the 130th because it was 5 or 6 years ago. And they're doing stuff for the 135th now. We're going down to a...
We did the tour. The anniversary tour.
Yeah, I saw you in Suffern. Matter of fact, JP was there, I think. And Teresa. Yeah. Because we...
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you know what is happening that's fun? They did a thing called Diamond Club, and they gave teams that did $1 million, they gave you $5,000 to have a party, is how I interpreted it. Not everybody did the same thing, but I'm having a big giant $5,000 party in my backyard on July 24th. So feel free to come on up for it.
Whoa, might be my first trip in a while. Was that the pig roast you're doing?
Yes. Oh, you saw that? Yeah. I'm inviting not only my downline, but customers, prospects, anybody can come because it'll be fun.
How many do you expect?
150 is what I'm planning food for. And I did this in 2014, which would have been right before your time. And matter of fact, you probably remember him, Randy Smith. His wife had died from ALS, and he was doing the travel around the country. And I had won an incentive from the company, and what the prize was, you get to pick where the rally was in the Northeast. And when they asked me where I wanted it, I said, my backyard. And they paid me money not to have it here. Right. They called me up and said, we really don't want to have a big giant rally in your backyard. Would you take money instead? I said, yes, I will. And that's when we had the first pig roast. That was awesome. I loved that.
Oh, by the way, that's all about, there is somebody from corporate's worried about safety and somebody tripping over a cord and spraying their
I don't think they wanted to come out here because right, because a couple of the corporate people have come out here, and we end up having last time I had some corporate people out here, we ate at Nana's Snack Shack. I brought them down there to have an ice cream. I try to go to the most hillbilly place possible because I don't want to, ruin my reputation and think that I've gone uptown or anything. So
hey, let me tell you something. I would have been quite happy with Nana's Shack. You want to share me off with that.
Yeah, you should come out. The pig roast is going to be fun. JP's coming up for it, as a matter of fact. And Teresa Paul's coming. You probably remember Teresa.
I do remember Teresa, absolutely.
Yes. So, we saw you in Suffern, too. So yes. Yeah, things, the thing that I think that I've realized over the last, I don't know, I have a 30-something, almost 40-year window, of course, in the one bigger company.
Yep.
The constant is us, the representatives. It may not be the exact same representatives over my entire span, but it's me, and we're the ones that change the least.
Yeah.
The corporate people change the most.
Yeah.
So to me, we're the strength.
Yeah.
That runs things.
Yeah. The corporate, I guess the business isn't always aligned with the let's just say the goals that the people that drive the business might have, which I think is a disconnect. Now, even you saying that, Lisa, I mean, maybe that's the problem. I mean, right?
Well, I've been a big believer.
Thrive pretty soon.
Tell me what you think about this. I've been a big believer for a long time that as a direct seller, though, I need to have my own personal brand. Yes, my brand is associated with a corporation, but I mean, this company that we both were in together, they actually stopped doing business in Ireland and stopped doing business in Australia. And the representatives found out by not being able to sign into their account one morning. So I've always felt that my best plan of safety was to have some kind of brand identity myself, not just as a representative of a corporation, but as a brand on my own. How do you feel about that?
Unequivocally. I'll give you another example. Again, in the current business I am, I work with a lot of executives. Some are between things, some are employed. But for example, this is a rather typical conversation. I was talking to one guy. He has been with the same company for almost 30 years, and he's in his early 50s, and he's wondering if he's talking about getting some support to really be thinking about maybe he should leave, or maybe he should stay, or what should he do? So he's thinking about next job, next phase, and he wants to be comprehensive in his plan. Now, my advice to him, and has been to people for years, you should, if you want to be successful, you have to unequivocally be committed to what you're doing, okay? But it's equally prudent, appropriate, and everything else to make sure some people call it plan B. I just call it being strategic, okay? So we're this guy. I said to him, Joe, whatever his name is, here's what you're going to find out in this process, okay? One of two things. You're either, as you go around and consider what else is there, you're going to be either more committed to what you're doing or more passionate about going somewhere else. But the point is having that kind of, I think, orientation in today's world is critical. Now, I would say 40 years ago, people started working at companies and they stayed forever, okay? But companies didn't have reorgs once a year. I mean, companies are supposed to be strategic. Strategic means a 3 to 5 year plan. If you're doing a restructure once a year, you're not very strategic.
Right.
But the point here is you can't count on that. And it's nobody's fault. They're not sitting around some table going, how can I fire the employees or make,
Right.
they're not doing that. It's just you have, in today's world, I don't care if you want to call it a plan B, call it options, call it being strategic. You really got to be doing that. I don't care if you're sailing on the ship of some direct selling company that's, flying high and off, into the wilderness. They're doing great. I would still recommend that, as I do for executives today that are very happy and challenged and successful. Better have a network. Never know.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the network too. Have people that but that's it. Yeah. To me, my big vision is no longer. It used to be a title. It used to be a title or something like the top of the pay plan or whatever it is. That was my big thing. Now it's more like I want to help people, and particularly women, be self-sufficient, because I'm telling you, not a week goes by now, and I guess this means I'm getting old, but not a week goes by now that I don't know someone, personally know them, that something happened to the money earner at the house.
Yeah.
Right, because matter of fact, this is someone I know that this week's story, and her husband's out riding a motorcycle, and he doesn't even know what happened. He's in the hospital. He laid the bike down somehow. He doesn't even know what happened. So now he's going to be out of work for weeks. And I'm not sure that she earns enough to support them. This could be a big problem fast.
Yep.
And she's lucky he lived through it. What if he hadn't lived through it?
Absolutely.
So I just want to help people realize that they need to be self-sufficient. Now, how we do that doesn't really matter as much as doing it. Yeah. So if we're doing it selling some lipstick, yay. If we're doing it selling some lotion, yay. But to me, that's more like the point now, instead of a title. That used to be my all thing, but now it's more like.
And Lisa, with that, but I know you'll tell all of us otherwise. With your new, let's say, motivation, you'll be equally as or more successful than you've ever been. I am sure.
I think it probably, I've probably felt that way all along about setting a good example.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it really has driven home for me. The older I get and the more things I see. I know a lady that her husband died when he was mowing the lawn. The ride mower rolled over on him, and they weren't that old. She had to sell the house right away because he was making the payments.
When I was with the company, the most inspiring thing was listening to stories like that. I mean, the company gave, life and income to people that needed it, and they needed flexibility. I mean, and what a great business to be in during the incredible year and a half or so that we had.
And direct sales, all of the direct sales companies did well.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
And may continue in the future, because there's a lot of people that actually don't want to go back to the way it was. Most people want either some sort of remote gig or some sort of hybrid one. And so companies are trying to figure that out. But unequivocally, this idea of helping people be independent and helping them define success, however that is, maybe it is, what you say, maybe it is for somebody earning a title or making a certain amount of money. I mean, people have different goals, but helping support them, I think, is, yes, absolutely. And by the way, I'm doing the same thing. I work as the chief commercial officer for this. We're a boutique services firm out of Manhattan. I currently live in Charlotte. But what we do is we provide services such as executive coaching, executive onboarding, career planning, and we help people with career transitions. And I do that directly. Actually, I do quite a bit of stuff on the side, especially with young women. I'm working with a couple of, one woman who's graduating college, one who's sort of halfway through, just with their career plan, with their marketing materials, with helping them think about their 3 to 5 year plan. And that energizes me, Lisa. And that's stuff that's easy for me. But it's a way for me to give back based on what I like to do and everything I guess I've learned over the last decades of my career.
I had that in my notes. I read what your LinkedIn page said, and
Yeah.
I thought what you do was kind of along the lines of talent scout is what I wrote on my paper.
Hmm.
Is that close?
Well, we unequivocally, if we had to put two words at the banner, we would say we're most interested in supporting talent development with senior level executives, and so all those services I mentioned are underneath that banner. But absolutely, that is what we're about. Yes.
Now, the company that we are known together in, that we
Yep.
were in together with, I saw something on your LinkedIn that made me think that's what you were hired to do over there, acquisition and integration. They
Yeah.
brought you in to smooth the thing over, right? To smooth things over.
Yeah.
It worked, by the way, but that isn't that what happened? Or did you not think that? Did you think you were coming on for the long term, or did you think it was an assignment with
No,
deadlines?
that's a good question. So, because people have asked me since, or when I kind of give a brief of my background, going there was it was really two things. One was to help build the momentum back in the business. That was a priority, right? The other priority was to strategically reposition where we could. And actually, both happened, at least while I was there, at least the short time I was there. We did get momentum going in the other direction. Actually, we were profitable. And then also, as you know, we sold the business to, at least the North American business, to Service Capital Management and strategically repositioned. So that unequivocally was the challenge. It was the work. We did get it done. The day I took on the role, quite candidly, I took it on with knowing that could be something that maybe only lasts 60 or 90 days. Because at the time I even accepted the role, there was discussions of buying and selling and a bunch of stuff. But I loved it. I frankly wish it would have gone a bit longer, for sure. Things don't always go the way you want it. So
I'm kind of glad I asked, though, because since you've been gone, there's been all kind of hubbub, and I said that I thought that you probably took it knowing there was a limited, because from our side, we're never told that it was a limited thing. From our side, people just leave, and they always tell us. They say they moved on to another opportunity. They always say that, no matter what happened, whether they fired them or they chose to leave, it's always, oh, they moved on to another opportunity. Matter of fact, that's why I say that about my ex-husbands. Oh, I released them to move on to another opportunity.
to be completely candid and transparent, it wasn't solely my decision. They had a very specific direction they wanted to go with somebody who had decades, quite frankly, well qualified to head in the direction that they needed to head. And that was, at some point, you just got to kind of read it what it is. And I surely
you weren't necessarily caught off guard. I think that's yes and no, evidently.
Like I said, I knew going in, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't move. Remember, I was living in Atlanta and commuting because they're like, well, I just don't know how long this is going to last for whatever reason. So if I was, it was only reflective of my disappointment. Actually, you guys knew I can't fake that how much I was. And remember, the really weird thing about working for that company, okay, that became a non-issue. Up to that point, I had worked in environments that were always about 98% male, right? I spent many, many years working in a bottling business that was, because most of the jobs were physical, was all male. And so when there was this opportunity working for a company that was now 98% women with a few great guys, right? People, we kind of all made like, well, what's that going to mean? I have to tell you guys, it was like, I guess as I look back, I loved all the guys. I loved all the women. What I would say the difference was the environment, the type of people, and you guys know I spend all my time in the field, or the majority of it, hearing people's stories and learning about them and their lives. was so incredibly inspiring. I mean, I just, you in big companies, you sort of make your way with a lot of work and effort to these rungs in the ladder. And you spend time with other people, I suppose, that are doing the same thing. And I just had this whole different experience at this company. And just so, it's no matter, we're just so incredibly inspired. And I tell people those stories. And I'm not going to listen to anybody who says, I can't make it or I can't figure it out. Look at you, Lisa. I know you've made millions. You tell your people that. And you've traveled the freaking world. Most people in this life have not accomplished what you have, the vast majority. And it's not like you had a lot of advantages getting you there, okay? Because they understand your story. So anyway, it was probably not not long enough, but it was awesome. And that's why I'm here today. When I stay in touch with a few people, in touch with Molly a bit. She's in North Carolina now.
Yes.
She sent me a birthday message, just like I always get a card from you, and I can see what's going on with you and Alex. And I love those cards because I always give you a long email back, and then you give me a long email back. But anyway, during that time, we just exchanged. We got to get together. I'm sort of on one side, and she's on the other side, but we've got to figure it out.
It's her birthday today.
Okay.
Molly, so you should text her. She'll love that.
I will do that.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're coming up for the pig roast because Molly's usually, I hope so. Yeah. Oh, that's why you should come up. Yeah. She's not sure. She's got some conflict, but if she comes up, she takes charge of my kitchen. And it's not that she's feeding the party. I'm having it catered, but she usually it takes charge of the crew, the ones working the party. So like us and my friends that are here working the party. So I have the party catered, but she does like breakfast and coffee, and she takes over my kitchen. I drive her crazy though, because I have a, what do you call it? A convenience kitchen. I have the smallest kitchen they would allow, and she's a chef cook. So
I know, I do.
She brings in all these tables and has all her own stuff, and I drive her bananas.
I cook more now, since the I've just, because of the way we've lived, we've moved a lot, as you know. I think we've moved, I don't know, 13 times. My son, who's 16, moved 9 times.
Wow.
And I think, I told you he's a sophomore this year, but he spent his freshman year of high school in Germany. So I think that was like 11, but
wow.
He's been stronger for it. But my point here is, we have a million excuses, but I was never much of a cook. So COVID hits, right? And I would say we were cautious. I was not paranoid. There's like, there's no restaurants open. So we just started cooking, and now, since everything's been opening and opened, we found out, my husband and I, we felt like we eat healthier. We're more control what goes in it. He's kind of the grill. He does an awesome job with the green egg. You can't believe, I'll take on Molly or any of you guys on a baking contest. I can bake.
Bake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that'd be Molly. That's not me. She's doing a cooking show on Saturdays.
Well, she could do a cooking show because she has the personality and the skill.
Yeah, she does. She's doing awesome. I keep trying to get her. She's got to do a cookbook because we have to monetize our time. I keep trying to get her, but so far, no. But when she was up here, she did the 2014 one with me, and it was funny. Some people are coming this time to stay too, and I told them, I've got you're welcome to come stay, but I'm telling you, it's not like you need to lower your standards if you're staying though, because I've got 4 cots and a couple blow-ups, and then the rest of it's Animal House. We're like Animal House here. So,
your barbecue's this weekend, right?
No, it's the 24th of July. It's a ways off.
Okay. Then it's at the end of July. Well, wait, yeah. Who knows?
It's more than 30 days from now. So we're still planning. Oh, as a matter of fact, you want to hear the funniest thing ever? I don't know if you'll think this is funny. So last year at the convention, The guy that does the convention, Michael Senstek, he's awesome. You may know
Oh yeah,
him.
I
He's
love
been in
Michael.
for like
Love
20 years.
him.
Oh, good. Awesome. He comes
Yeah.
out with this bottle, right, that he's showing us that are brand new. They introduced it last August. And I'm thinking, there you go. This is like so nostalgia looking for the 130th, and everybody will love this. And he's holding up and he's talking all about it. And you know how you think to yourself when you see a commercial on TV? I'm saying to myself, you know what? If that's $24.95, that's going to be mine all day long. I'm doing that, you know? And then I'm thinking, even if it's $34.95, I'm in. And it was really a pretty bottle. It's a peacock, and it has like crystals and stuff on it. Guess how much it was?
God, it's
Take
really
a
high.
guess.
Well, it's corporation, publicly held. $55.
$1,500.
What?
Look at your Elsie. Well, well, right. So, which I said that for about a week, but anyway, they did sell some of them, I'm sure, and it was a publicity thing, I'm sure. And they had they had 1886 of them only. But the fact of the matter is,
they limited their inventory. Jeez.
They sent me one recently for a prize for doing something, and I'm
shoot.
But I'm going to put it in the penny social that I'm selling tickets for to give the money to my team members that are doing the walk this year. So you could get one too. I'm giving it away, but I liked it. I opened it and I touched it and I loved it, but I'm willing to put it up because my team members wanted to win one because it's awesome. It's awesome.
On the discount part of the website right now somewhere. It's
not on there, but I'll send you a picture because you've got to see it, right?
I don't know. Wow.
No, you're just so funny. I have to admit, though, I did tell my friends, I said, listen, if you buy that peacock, the next time we go out for drinks, you're paying because you obviously have more money than I do.
Unbelievable. In your mind, you're going, okay, $25. Okay, 30. You must have fell off your freaking chair. I tell you,
that look you had on your face is the look I had on my face. I just couldn't believe it for it was a while. It was. I just thought
that person that came up with that idea probably got a big promotion or quit and went on to some other bigger job. Who knows?
It was just so funny because I sat there and matter of fact, JP told me I was being very naive because it did have crystals and stuff. But I was sitting there going, $35.95, I'm still in. $34.95, I'm still in. All day long, I buy it because I had no idea that it's gold plated, I guess, and it has crystals.
Did anybody sell one?
I don't know about selling. I know a few people that bought them. Representatives, but I'm telling you, I know who they are. I got a list, and next time I go to the bar, I'm not buying for them. They're paying my drink bill because
don't forget to send a picture, man. I got to see that. That is I wouldn't have guessed that in 100 years. I would have never guessed that.
So right. So, and I didn't, but I tell you the story because I am going to have that I'm doing a penny social with 24 items. And I'm having it, and every penny that we sell tickets, we're going to sell tickets for $1 each, 6 for $5, and every penny that I bring in is going to be distributed among my team members that are doing the walk for the American Cancer Society walk associated with the company. So I'm going to distribute it.
So you're taking a crazy idea and making it a great one.
Well, there is a lot of interest in the peacock. That it did get a lot of press. So if that was the point of the exercise, that did happen, but it was just funny.
Maybe I knew people were shocked like we were. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I'm going to look it up.
Well, actually, if you Google search it, you could find it easy.
It
was more expensive than any designer fragrance last Christmas. It was the most expensive on the planet, I think.
How does it smell?
I opened it, but it didn't. I'm not a fragrance connoisseur, so it's right. Somebody told me it smelled like one of the ones we had, and they told me, but I didn't. Oh, Dream Life. Somebody told me it smelled kind of like Dream Life. Right.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, the poorest people would hear that and fall off their chair and just go, you know what, I quit. Can you imagine? Did you just take the old stuff and put it in the Peacock? They may have.
Oh, I just thought that was funny though. Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I hate it when I didn't see it coming so bad.
No.
That was I totally didn't see it coming.
We know the customer and the consumer. That's why. I mean,
well, no,
they're 90210 and try to sell it. They
have been trying to move us up a little uptown more than we were before. And I get that because obviously if we had to change hands twice, we need to make some profit. So we have had a higher price point on a new lines coming out. So I get, but not like that. That was beyond the that was beyond what I imagined happening, I guess.
Well, I guess there was a lot of consumers to love in the place that the company was playing when I was there. I mean, but that's,
You know what? Something I do like, and you probably got to do this, the traveling, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
That has been, you know what? I didn't realize my mother, who's 83, I didn't realize she hadn't flown in a plane until we did it with the company. Isn't that kind of neat? And now her and I have flown in planes and gone on so many of the trips. I don't know how many times. I didn't keep track of it because it happens so much.
Oh, she loved it too. I know.
Oh, she did. Yeah.
You've seen the world. I think that's I don't know about all the direct selling, but that jazzes people for sure. Is getting to travel. Absolutely. And in style, frankly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, matter of fact, I get upset now when we go someplace and I don't get extra special treatment because it's like I'm used to it. You know who's listening today? I saw her, Janet Leonard, who's from Ireland. And I met her when I was over speaking for the company. And we've been best buddies. Yeah, we've been best buddies ever since. So I've made friends from all over the world being with the company. That's the best part I've got to really think is it's not all that money that they gave me, although that's nice, but it's the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The people that you meet, I think is amazing.
And you said the impact it had with your mom, the impact it had with your son, see the world, the role model that you were, finding a way to be busy and successful, but to be there for them. And you've needed to be there because Alex was young and your mom needed support. So, I mean, I don't know. The whole industry really brings a lot of value. Like I said, even more so since what we've all dealt with COVID, which should help the industry.
I'm glad. It is funny though. I get a lot of people don't think I work. Matter of fact, even my mother, she keeps wanting to come over and spend a bunch of time drinking coffee every day, and I'm like, Ma, I got to do some work, or I don't get to keep the house.
Right. See?
I think that's funny. Somebody wrote on here, if they don't approve the StreamYard thing, we don't see their name. So this person didn't. She said, I was bummed out because I really wanted that Peacock. I'm going to be selling the tickets for the Penny Social online. So if you want to take a chance, you can certainly do that. I'm opening it to everybody, not just downline, because I'm going to give them the money back anyway, the walkers. So Lori Walsh said, I think most of the peacocks were purchased by reps as a collectible. She thinks most did. Yeah, I just couldn't make myself justify that expense.
I'm sure representatives wanted it for, commemoration or memory or whatever, but wow, that's taken some advantage of people.
Well, it is a nice, it's like a wood box and everything. I'm not trying to defend it. Okay, I'm trying to defend it a little.
I'll look it up. Okay.
You got to see it though. Yeah, I knew you would like that for some reason. I knew that would surprise you, I guess. Mariana's going to get some tickets. Yay! Tamara is one of my, you know what? Tamara's in my downline in my first. She is so awesome. We met a decade or more ago when a division manager had me out speaking in her division. And then years later, when she wanted to come back, I was who she remembered from the
Oh,
company.
I'm not surprised.
So I think that's awesome. So she contacted me and now she's on my team. She told her husband, James, I'm buying Peacock tickets. See, a lot of people want the Peacock, so it's going to be great for the Penny Social.
Unlike unlike the 1,500, you price the tickets right too. I mean, everybody can participate, or vast majority for $1. I mean, versus for a $1,500 item, you might consider a $100 ticket.
Oh well, I wanted this to be a benefit too to everybody, right? I have 23 other items in there. There is one other item in the Penny Social that I think is very special. That was very hard to get. Do you remember the View from the Top books?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did the 3-book set. At the time we did them, as a special to the co-authors, we circulated a set of books and signed them, and each co-author has the book they're in. Well, I'm the only one that's in all 3 books. So I have a set of all 3 books signed by every author.
That'd be a really big deal.
So the books look a little scruffy because they went around the country, but it's all 3 books and signed by all authors. And I think there's 60 something co-authors. So I think that's the other special thing in there, the Peacock and the book set. So I'm hoping to raise quite a bit of money for my walkers that are on the team that are doing it this year.
I think you will. That's still a big deal annually for the company, huh? The
walk. They do it different now, of course. It's not the 39-mile thing. It's however much you choose to do, and you get to choose how much you raise too. It used to be you had to raise like $1,800. Now it's like $200. So they've fixed it so more people can participate.
My sister had breast cancer. She was diagnosed. Maybe it's a year and a half ago or so now, almost 2. Yeah, pretty serious. She's doing fine. She's strong, but yeah, that's
scary.
It is, but we're frankly that whole all the people that have walked for breast cancer and how they propelled the advancement of a cure is amazing. But it's all the people that do the walks. I mean, versus let's say some of the other really tragic diseases, so many people behind it. I mean, it's amazing. The information, the treatment, how it's so individualized. I mean, she had the book thrown at her on her treatment, let me tell you, but she's doing great. She's feeling great. And when you watch somebody go through that, you're just like, wow, I cannot believe what the human body can endure. Just amazing.
That must be so scary though. I can't even imagine. Oh.
I was, I kind of don't, I'm in a different compartment when those type of things happen. I get right into, okay, give me the facts. Cause she called me first before she knew of her diagnosis. She called me one night. She'd had like something she's been feeling for years. I'm like, what? And, so I tried to avoid the lecture series with her and just said, tomorrow you will do these things and you're going to send me an email or I'm going to call you. And then the next day she found out she had cancer because of the things she's been dealing with for so long. But anyway, so I just kind of get right into okay, it is what it is. What are the facts? What are we going to do about it? I just focus on action and try not let myself kind of go with the fear and the other things that, that's how I deal with it. And, I know as a good support to her because, anyway, so yeah.
I'm like that too, but I get, let's see, see if this happens to you. My family members, kind of accuse me of being, I don't know, well, not just my family members, ask JP, he thinks I'm an ice heart. He calls me the ice queen, but it's like, because to me, when something happens, like when I got divorced, for example, I went into battle stations. I I made lists of what I had to do. I said, oh, well, I didn't realize I was here, but since I'm here, this is what has to be done. And I have to make sure I got my bases covered. I didn't sit around crying about the inevitable that already happened. I just said, well, here we go. But people take that, they don't think I'm emotional enough. And I either I don't have it in me, or I just get into survival mode quicker. I don't know what it is. Do you get accused of that by your family like I do?
Of my career, the people I worked with. But so, so I, over the years, and I think we all take that's a strength, what you just described, for a lot of reasons, Lisa. It's a big strength. It also can spill over to a weakness. So how that would, so the strength I described to you just now in dealing with my sister, it becomes a weakness when it's Monday morning at the office, and this would happen, and people would come by my office, I think expecting me to say, hey, how was your weekend? And I'm just like, what's going on today? How's the business? Where I needed to, over time, learn that where that's a strength, I've got to watch it, right? So it's not a derailer. And so over the time, then I trained myself to go, wait, it's Monday. People want to talk about how was the weekend, and actually, I trained myself, and I began to love that and going, oh, this is why people talk about this stuff, because it's interesting and it's helpful, and you build deeper relationships, and it's more meaningful. And where there's trust, there's efficiency. Things get better. So anyway, I improve that, but I think that, I said in general that it is a strength, but even when we work with executives today, and we do a lot of assessment work with them, we've got a couple in-house PhDs, we really, it's always those great towering strengths that we look at the opposite end of that spectrum and look to help support them to make sure they're not derailing that towering strength.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just funny that I'm the opposite of, some people will get bad news or whatever, or something will happen and they freeze. You know what I mean? And I'm almost not able to do that. You know what I mean? To me, I right away think, how is this affecting the overall, what we're doing here? How am I what do we need to do next? So I like it about myself, but I can see how it would be perceived badly.
So, Lisa, whether you like it or not, those type of qualities would have made you, and I know you're going to say no, it wouldn't have, but would have made you a very successful corporate executive. You would have been awesome. You'd have been at the top of the pole there.
I'm surprised you already didn't get past the note about that. That's a no-go.
No, I remember the first message you ever sent me. Absolutely. I'm not calling the wrong. No, please, Lisa. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, that's right. Oh, matter of fact, the poor lady that is the field person now. I kind of sent her the same message, but she wandered back off. So
see, I wouldn't give up.
Yeah, you didn't. That's what I found out your superpower, because you started asking about stuff, not about work, and you happened upon the kid, and then you realized, well, the kid's her universe. You can tell, and that's how you knew how to get to me. See, that's smart.
Those old pictures you posted, oh, it was so, like I said, I remember my very first convention. I probably had only been with the company, it was like whirling, like maybe 2 months, but I was like, what is this? It was so amazing. And when I say amazing, it's unequivocally, it's the people that are the brand that are just so incredibly, impressive, and their stories. Anyway, I'm still getting chills because it's so amazing, so amazing.
It's funny. You would be proud, I think, of the resilience that has been us the last 5 years since you've been gone from the picture, because they've had a lot of changes, of course, and the change of ownership again, and most of the representatives that you remember are still here. Most of them are doing very well. So I think you would be impressed. I really do.
Well, that's why the company is surviving. That's why they're surviving. Absolutely.
No, I agree.
Well said.
You know, I did want to tell you, we got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Someone I think you remember, I hope. I'm pretty sure he was on your tenure, maybe not. Do you remember Angie Rossi?
Yes.
Angie Rossi. I've got him doing a show with me coming up. But who we're talking about, one of the people we're going to talk about is, do you remember the Woman of Enterprise thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you remember Irma Skaggs? Yes.
Yep.
She was always the queen of Woman of Enterprise, and she would speak at every breakfast. And do you remember her big thing? She would give us how serious this was, and that she wanted to be buried with her trophy, and that we'd better be wearing our pin if we ever ran into her.
Yeah.
She was awesome. I was afraid of her, but she was awesome. Well, Irma was 90 something, 94 probably. Last summer, she passed away. Now, why I'm telling you the story is because I'd listened to Irma talk about the trophy thing.
Yeah.
For 2 decades now. The minute I heard that she passed away, I thought to myself, oh, I hope her family knew about the whole trophy thing. Well, in January, I get this phone call, and it was Irma's daughter.
Yeah.
And you know why she called me? This is so neat. Don't cry. This is one of those things. She found the cards I sent her. She kept all the cards I sent her. I didn't even know Irma had a daughter, and she found the cards I sent her. She'd saved them and called me. But I felt funny asking the daughter, but I had to know. I said, could you please put my mind at ease? Because I'm afraid Irma will haunt me if you don't tell me. I said, did you put the trophy in there? And she said, oh, absolutely, we did. And she said, we all knew about it. I know. So you just sighed a relief right there, too. And she had on not just the Woman of Enterprise pin when she was buried, but way back in the 70s, we used to wear red jackets with all of our pins on it. She was wearing that too. So she had the whole thing. And I was like, phew! But Angie's even been to Irma's house. So I want to make sure Angie knows that story too, because
it's a great story for the company. I hope somebody else knows.
Well, I didn't even know when we found out Irma passed. I didn't know anybody at corporate that was left that would know. I did let Angie know. So, but I was so happy to get that phone call, and I felt bad asking the daughter, but I'm so relieved because that was all Irma talked about at the Woman of Enterprise.
That's the I mean, that's one of the amazing things about that brand. I mean, that I was also, it startled me that it had that type of sort of emotion and connection with people. I mean, that's a really awesome story, but there's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
You just would go, wow, not many brands reach into people's life and their hearts like that. And if you could tap into that, I mean, you do. That's how your business survives.
Well, and all of us leaders should tap into that more, probably.
Right.
Don't you think?
Well, because it's rare. You know, you just don't hear stories like that. And yeah, frankly, it's a selling point. This is what, you know, it's still a brand, right? Whoever you talk to, I don't care who they are. I don't know what age anymore, but boy, it is just so relevant. It's got such unique roots, but you know, unless we're getting to the younger people about this, it's going away eventually. But those stories are amazing and should be told.
Yeah, you know who's on too is Laura Douglas Robinson. You remember her? She's from New York State. It's not New York City, I don't believe. She's coming up to the pig roast, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
She's coming up with her boyfriend, which we're going to, don't listen to this, Laura. We're going to give him a hard time. It's kind of like hazing.
Are you really doing, like when I was growing up, okay, in central Minnesota, I think I told you guys, very small farming town. Anyway, pig roasts were a big deal. But like Lisa, we got, my family got the big smoker thing, and like there was like a pig from head to feet in that
Oh
thing.
no, it's the whole pig, right? If you look on the flyer, you'll see from 2014, it was the whole pig. Now, the truth is, I'm not doing the pig roast. I am having it catered, but it's a representative in my downline's husband. They own it's kind of like Johnny Rockets. They own a little diner in Massachusetts, but he loves doing the pig roast thing. He hadn't done one when he did the one in 2014. They came the night before and stayed up all night, and they did the whole thing, and they got the cooker. He loves doing that.
It is
And
amazing.
it smelled really good. I didn't like looking at it myself.
Yeah, I know. I know. I remember.
But it was awesome.
I can see it.
Yeah, he's doing that. And he called me, and he said, he was funny, like anyone says no to this. He says to me, this year, his staff wanted to know if it was okay if they brought all the stuff up to do a make your own Sunday bar. And I'm like, does anybody say no to this? Of course you can do that.
I just make one for the Sunday too. Hey, roast in a Sunday bar. Oh my gosh.
And well, there's other stuff too. This is going to be awesome. I've got a drone taking pictures, so we're going to do some of them big group shots. I've got it's going to say the company name party here in big giant letters on my front lawn, so we can have the drone shot.
Very
I've
cool.
also got New England photo booth coming, where they do all the fun shots with backgrounds and props and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, you need to sign the signing wall in my house. I have a signing wall. So everybody signs the signing wall. You didn't know that?
I did. You got to get a picture of that. No, I have a picture of that along with the peacock.
Okay. I will do that. So that is funny. Lori said the power of people, were the catalyst to ease your mind about the trophy, brought you together with your daughter and family. And you know what? The daughter signed up to sell Avon with me.
Really?
I know. Yes. I didn't even say anything because she's in her 70s, Irma's daughter. She's in her 70s. I didn't even think about doing it. She signed up without speaking to me about it. And I called up and I said, you didn't sound like you wanted to sign up. She said, no, I decided I wanted to. Okay.
Oh, man.
Which was nice.
Amazing, 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 Lisa. Totally amazing.
Yeah, and somebody said, let's see, loved Angie Rossi. He's going to be on, I believe it's in July. Okay. He already said he would do it with me. And he was funny too. He said, I don't think I have any stories to tell. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? He's been all over the place. He knows all of these representatives.
Right.
They're going to love him. So, and this person that wrote that didn't give permission, so I don't know her name, but she said she's been in 30 years. 30-year representative. Do you know on the big trips, when I'm sure you remember this, when they do the recognition, they start with 25 years. Those are like the new people, and they go up from there. So I always found that humbling because, right, I'm only at 30. I think I'm at 35 years right now. I got a watch, by the way, but I'm actually at the low end. Say again?
What kind of watch did you get?
It was fancy, but I think it's not everybody got a fancy watch. I think it's because of platinum, which is that's their new name for the top of the pay plan thing. I'm pretty sure everybody doesn't get that watch because I looked it up. I looked it up and it's fancy. It's.
Do you remember when I was there? You Chief Platinum. You probably.
Oh, yes, I do. I called you in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I remember we were like tracking it, like it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and
And then I missed it like 2 campaigns in a row, and then it hit. Yeah. I called you because it didn't show on the screen, and I was like dying.
I'm sure I called somebody right after that too.
I forgot you went on that.
Yeah, it was a big deal. So you got a fancy watch, huh?
Yeah, and I feel very bad about this, but I was complaining to my one of my buddies, Lisa Scola, which you might also remember.
I remember Lisa.
I was complaining to her because it's a watch and I haven't worn a watch since I've had a cell phone. And she said, silly, it's supposed to be like jewelry.
She's right.
Just be thankful it's a nice fancy watch. Thank them and go about your business, silly girl. And she was right. Yeah, I wasn't being grateful enough. But I know it's a man thing is watches more than a woman thing, but it's a beautiful piece of jewelry. So she's
Are
right.
you still wearing your Apple Watch? I just switched from Apple to Polar.
Oh no, the Apple Watch didn't stick with me that well. The phone is I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, I just like to track steps and things like that. So.
Well, I do Fitbit. I've still got my old Fitbit. So,
yes.
right.
You look good. Lisa, you know, Avon, besides everything else besides everything else we've said, and I'm watching the clock, I know but man, all you guys look freaking fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to take that personally.
I may not sign up as a representative, but I may have to go on your website and buy a few things. I'm not going to tell you guys. Try to press me to tell you where I buy my skincare lotion. Try to press me.
I'm not telling. No, you're not getting it from us.
I'm not.
Oh, what are you getting at Macy's or something? Oh.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Aldi. Oh my God.
Oh, now that's like a sin against humanity.
Listen, if anybody shopped at an Aldi, they get unbelievable, great produce and meat at awesome prices. I just picked up the skincare because it's convenient. Oh my God. Anyway, I might have to go home.
Well, you know what though, as being a guest on my show, I like to say show, it makes me feel fancy.
What?
Being a guest on my show, you usually get the choice of brownies, caramels, or cookies. However, two shows back, one of my guests says, "Can't I have some skincare from your main gig?" Now, how would you like a little selection of skincare from
I would love that because that might be good for you as well. Maybe I'll get sort of re-hooked and maybe become a recommitted customer.
I will definitely. They have a new line that I'm all excited about called Farm RX, and it's all natural stuff. And one of them is a green gel kind of moisturizer that goes right in, and it's awesome.
All right.
I think you might like it. I'll send you a little selection of Farm RX products.
I will look forward to it for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. And Miss Margaret, if you stay right there for a moment, we do go back to the green room just so I can thank you again.
Right. Thanks, everybody. Best
Thank
everybody.
you. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.